Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's stream. Tonight we are going to continue the Ace Attorney Chronicles. How about it? We are in episode 2. I think we were going to the room next door. So let's just take a look, shall we? Because if I remember correctly... Oh, it turned off, didn't it? I thought I had put everything on, but as it seems... Oh my god. Here we are. We're back. Let me guess. The audio doesn't work. I hope it does, though. For my sake. The audio just worked and now it doesn't. Are you kidding me? How do I fix this? There we go. The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. Yes, that's where we were. So we met Sherlock Holmes. We also met this guy. I completely forgot what we were supposed to do, so let's take a look. Alright, let's see what we can find out. Move. First class passageway. 9th of January, 7:48 AM. The SS Baraya. First class cabin passageway. Whoa, I'm finally out of the cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Why is there a... Is that a mousetrap on the floor? Oh wait, I'm in front of it. There's a mousetrap right behind me, like... That thing over there. You can't see it properly, never mind. Doesn't work. Kazuma was being sent on this study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch. And he looks enormous, even if he is sitting down. The door next to him leads to second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose, like people in handcuffs? Naruhodo, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to this ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I haven't come out of that room yet. Exactly, I was in Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard, and ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. Well, luckily for the main character, or for the protagonist, whatever, he doesn't have, what do they call it? Claustrophobia? Claustrophobia? Yeah, guess so. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. Can we examine this, please? How do I do this again? Like so. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? I think that's the emergency... Yeah, exactly. That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. What are you doing? You must not touch it. But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be even in a worse situation. I wish everything would just stop, this ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. Well, alright. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Isn't that shirt kinda too tight for you? Oh, excuse me, we, need to get inside this cabin here. You saw it a bit earlier. Yes, indeed. Doesn't really matter. You missed, I think, 90 minutes of footage anyway, so you don't even know where the hell we are, what the hell we're doing. Unless you did rewatch the footage, I don't know if you skimmed through it or not. The sailors' eyes speak volumes. They're clearly saying keep out. That's what I wrote on the sign to put over the wardrobe doors. Although this man's version is definitely more effective. It doesn't look like he's going to let us pass. That's a problem. The fuck is that really a mouse trap? A trap for catching mice? Yes, it is. Okay, so I was right. Yeah, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what it's called. Cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Cheese. Wait, is cheese a foreign concept to Japanese people back in the 1900s? Okay, now that's something that we could think about and that we can discuss. At the time of the 1900s, was cheese really unknown to the Japanese people? Is that an actual thing? Can somebody Google when the Japanese found out about cheese? Please. Just for me. You can't eat it, Naru. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really, but... I suppose you're right. That little book is annoying as hell to put back in your kimono, but okay. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. That sounds so fucking sarcastic. The thing is, when you're as sarcastic as I am sometimes, you can't even tell whether when other people are sarcastic because you think they are being sarcastic towards you because you're always being sarcastic towards them. So you don't even know what's real anymore and what isn't. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin, it's Kazuma's. Sorry? Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. These cabins are the finest on the ship. My own cabin in steerage is number 539, by the way. 500 and... How many cabins are there? I don't know how many cabins there are. Mustn't be that big of a ship. Just each deck, look. The Bury is a large-scale steamship with a triple skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink in the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple. It is? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth. Many, many times larger than the ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Yeah, that's the thing. About the archipelago, or about islands overall, about every single piece of land. Do we float on water? Like, is there... The deeper we go, the more water we find, and eventually we just discover that even Europe, Africa, and Asia, the three continents that are all being held together are just exactly the same, like an actual island, because that's what I feel like. We are calling things that are being surrounded by water islands, but our continents are being surrounded by water too. Doesn't that mean that is also an island? My brain has a lot of conspiracy theories tonight. Well, I suppose so. What's these does? That's a huge book on top of the table there, and there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise, every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such a beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. I thought he might appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naru. Even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You? You little stowaway murderer. I think these were Russian. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mrs. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You? You little third-class lady's maid? Oh. We seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Sato. I am not a sailor. My mother gave me name. I am Senior Crewman Beef Stroganoff. Beef Stroganoff. Be strong enough, probably. The best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Mr. Strongenough, about this first-class cabin area. Here we are in the finest part of Burya steamship for very important persons. What sort of important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I'm always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in the ocean. But Stroganoff not animal. Thank you? If I may, I was wondering. Is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi is currently occupied? Duh! Sato, did you understand that? It sounded like da. Yeah, exactly, that's what I just said. I think it's probably Russian for yes or no. Da means yes. I know what no means. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yeah, it's tantalizing. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's? His name is Mr. Grimsby Roylott. He is a very important Western gentleman. Oh, do not think about it. He has nothing to do with the murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in a lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands. Oh, that was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important. Is that right? That is not your business. Are you on watch here for all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Duh. All time. So criminals like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is said about student boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Yet. Sasato, did you understand that? It was clearly a no. I saw nothing unusual, nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything was wrong in some way? He's looking the other way, he knows something. I said no. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yeah, alright. Bulkhead to second class area, staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or as English say, when the pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good, now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Okay, we can now investigate this properly. We've been there, done that, been there, done that. Well, that book on top of the table there really is huge. There's a pen with it too. Yes, I'm sure that's the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The running also need to proceed. Yeah, we talked about this, but the thing is it didn't give me a check mark. Anyway, look here. Last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. Oh, we've done that. Okay. And that's the way to the second class area of the ship. Something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. Where do you want to go? It's a fucking ship. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Yes, definitely. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. Been there, done that, been there, done that. Why is that light off? Hello, Dom. That light is also off. That annoys me. Examine the door, damn it. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Honk, honk. No answer. There's not a dead body in there, isn't it? We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries. How annoying. Ah, what was that? It came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Oh. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Oh. Mr. Sholmes. It's the Englishman. I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off the hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What? Pray, can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. There's another dead body. Who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. Well, it's the guy that escaped the prison. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, this old man does not appear to be the... this man does appear to be the only person in there. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now. Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsby Roylott, I believe? Yes, that's me. And you are? I am the one and only, the actual Herlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No. I'm a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. The man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So might I be bold to ask you to open that small traveling case? What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. What if it's a parrot? Did you just see that, Mr. Naruto? Yeah, the case just shook. Leave, now. Otherwise, I'll call the steward. So this is Kazuma's neighbor, Mr. Grimsby Roylott. There's no doubt about it. The strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues that before the burly sailor returns. I'm gonna examine that case straight away. Why the fuck is he in the cabin? What do you think you're doing? This is my cabin. Get out. Could we just have a quick look inside the traveling case, perhaps? No. Ah, what a pity. I think we're out of luck. You can just force him. I think you're right. There doesn't appear to be anything more we can do. But there may be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. Why does this look the exact same? Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You only need to address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed, I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the water wheels waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of detection into service. Oh? And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no actually. You're spot on, for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something, yeah. He has a pair of scissors in his hand, and he also has a newspaper in his other pocket, so... Do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Capitalism. Why, the truth, of course. So is that how it works? Okay. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how a Russian will react when his secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please. Well then. What you are about to see may as well astound you. Well, I am about to apply my greatest detective greatly admires great deduction to the case. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time it occurs to me. Is a fellow dubious on account of the Russianness, or a Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes. I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read... It is a capital mistake to theorize before you all have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh, I must have complete silence. He's either going to say, oh look, it's the Russian that escaped prison or is on the run, or he's gonna say something really fucking stupid. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. Hmm? There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I've reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What? What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you are about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh? And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn. You are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not? Oh, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction? Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What? Oh yes, I've read about it countless of times in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, and I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great decision firsthand. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the color has drained from Mr. Roylott's face. Well, I mean, technically, being white isn't a color. He turned blue, so he did have color. You could have just said all the non-color vanished from his face, but okay. It looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How could you? How could I possibly know such things? You wish to say? Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was at this... How I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So do I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Conclusion. Old man's identity. So the dubious looking Russian, Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could possibly one with such an implement, or what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. And now he's like, what the fuck? Now, moving on. Where the fuck is this spotlight even come from? The question then begged is this. Why would you decide to rid of your magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper. In particular, the fascinating front page article. Which it would appear you have also read. Well, my brain would be like... If they are on this voyage for at least 2 weeks, how do they get the newspaper from today? Because they haven't set a foot on land. How do they get the newspaper from today? The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. He doesn't have the exact same facial structure though. Having noted the article yourself, you decide to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. A revolutionary on the run. Wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion. I like how this game doesn't even take itself too seriously at this time. You are at this very moment on the brink of committing a grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, the traveling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps? One slight enough to fit therein? I think it's a parrot of some sort. Oh, maybe it's the ballerina. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Wait, something tells me that he ran away and the ballerina that went missing. He's the Bolshevik and the other guy or the other woman is the ballerina because she's quite agile. But the thing is, I think they're running away for a marriage together or something. We're not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup. Whatever. Once again, we need to only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there's another most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Kidnapping of a young ballerina, okay. Well, he went a little further than I did, so he's indeed... If this is correct, then he indeed do be the great Sherlock or Sherlock Holmes. Of this Russian enigma, blah blah blah. He went a little bit further than I did with my deduction, so... Sazato, that wasn't one of the great deductions been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, could you come over here for a moment? What can I do for you? I tried to look at what you want. No, go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but... These two men look nothing like each other. Ah yes, I recall our discussion earlier, and at that time I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary. Well able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first, the case would appear too small. It is too small. Well, she's a ballerina, so she's quite agile. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child in it. How do you know that? Especially the 5-year-old. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth would be... Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in the body. Vinegar. For such a sour bunch It would surely be simplicity itself to consort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Mr. Naruto, something occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deduction just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of a matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Mrs. Otto. Just one or two keywords in his deduction that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if you might tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some keywords in his deductions? I feel sure I can do that. We don't unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction. Precisely the thought that it was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times I wonder how anyone puts up with me. Ah ha ha ha. It's not that funny. And you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? They're not cuffed anymore. Where are your handcuffs? How did... I felt that may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. Sholmes, you are a marvel. Where did he put them, though? When did he put them on? Don't worry, I'll show you restore the shackles to your wrist when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So let us begin. Okay. Mr. Roylott obviously will catch us in the first place. What could you possibly want with such an implement? Well, yes. The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You want the verge of using the shit to cut away the copies, bitches, sport. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. Doesn't sit quite right with me, though. It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either. Which means I suppose that the deduction is wrong. Let's try to switch a keyword here. See if it helps. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. Do manage to find something. Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands. Why might I want to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's something we could even... What exactly was Mr. Ron really going to use those enormous shears for? A thick hat? It's a very thick hat, isn't it? And that's a secret, you see. Don't you know? Secret? What? Well, before we left Japan, I took some time to study various foreign countries. Russia is a land of unimaginable cold, and the thick hat is the secret to keeping warm. Without one, I read that your brain would freeze. That was just one of many fascinating snippets of information in Oh Mother, not Russia. I think you maybe picked up the wrong book there. I don't want to say anything, but this looks like a man from the front. It doesn't look like a man anymore from behind. What's this? It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks. No. The color is not the point. The point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Roylott's head? And how is it growing from underneath his thick black hair? Well, yes, that's true. So it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something's definitely not right here. I'm gonna represent this. Yes. Oh, for God's sake, we're gonna do this too now. Like... You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed, you have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush, golden hair certainly does not benefit an old man. You're not a man at all, you're a woman. Oh no. Oh no. We've just reached peak comedy. We've just reached peak twists. And judging from the length and sheen of your hair... What the fuck is sheen? One's still very much in a youth. Oh no. If only I'd managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of those magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea that old man was a really young woman in disguise, did you? I honestly thought it was a revolutionary as well until I saw the golden locks. Yes, it was a surprise. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts with Mr. Sholmes. I'm just doing what we agreed. I am not having fun or anything, Susibaka. This is strictly business. Yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's true, given that Miss Rolla is actually a woman. Exactly, he, or rather she, or it, or them, they, them, they, them, they, them, simsalabim, abracadabra, elakazem, machamp, my ass. Can't possibly be the Muslims revolution. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole was taken a different direction now. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them. For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. Game, you don't really have to give me that shit. Yes! Bonk. There you go. The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. We're shattering reality here. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear that we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of the Novovich Ballet's prima ballerina. Nikolina Pavlova. Oh. You could have died there. Josh? I need a reading. No, never mind. She's 15. Never mind. She's 15. I don't need a reading on this one. I can only now see her bosom. Like, from the front it wasn't really obvious, but at this position... Yes. Makes much more sense. You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. A ballerina on the run. But what is her wrongdoing, though? I mean, she's here. She's not kidnapped at all, is she? Now, as for my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And a proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eye speaks so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. What is she about to do there? What's in... I think it's like a pet, but it can be a dog, it can be a cat, it can be a parrot. This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly she can't be inside a traveling case as well. Well, unless... In which case, what kind I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Naru. Do you like the idea of having another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. Is she cutting the crown? She can just throw that in the bin. Dazzling tiara, I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, do you think? Oh no, try it on. What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on? Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. How does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently. Are we missing anything else? I don't think so, right? Nope, we're gonna present this. Yes! Yes. Bonk, we're shattering reality again. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. Oh no! I believe this tiara was won on stage by dancers in the Novovich Ballet, is it not? Yeah, that's where I know it from. Yes, yes, from the article. Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in the newspaper article. If the reporting is believed, an item would be worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you have committed is theft. Oh no. Oh, she's stealing this. Oh, I thought it was hers. That's why I didn't think... I honestly thought that the tiara was from her itself, because she got it from someone or something. But no, it is from the ballet. Okay, so she is theft. Okay, she's a thief. Got it. You left your ballet troupe unlawfully, taking the precious tiara with you. I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone. And I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an earl or of Prussia. It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There's no point to hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. What? He's just gonna keep deducting. He's like, okay, I'll tell you everything. No, let me. There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? Can you stop this bullshit with clicking your fingers, please? It's not funny at all. You have staunchly refused to open the traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude therefore that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I have ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup de betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case are written in the books on the shelf. What? He completely changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all this? It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem like that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yeah, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in her direction. I noticed it myself. Then there has been to be another reason why she won't open the case. And it must be somewhere in the same area if that's where her gaze was drawn. I agree, that's the only answer. Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. Box on the shelf. Oh, yeah. Okay, so over here it says no pets, and she has a pet. But I'm still curious. I know it's a pet. I've said that like 15 minutes ago. But what type of pet would this be? Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects. Pets are strictly forbidden. That was exactly the same notice in our cabin too. Yeah, of course. Surely the punishment would be severe. You'd probably be left adrift in the freezing cold ocean. Well, if it's freezing cold, it wouldn't be ocean, it would be ice. It wouldn't be water anyway. Because if it's called frozen, it's called frozen state for a reason, you know? Or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end. So I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I?
Yes!
Yes. The reason why you refuse to open your case is written on the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in a cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on the vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. It's a bird. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time. But no weapon or other dangerous item would move on its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova, inside your traveling case. Is the last item listed as forbidden the vessel rules of passage? Is the last item listed as forbidden in the rules of passage a pet? I feel sorry for this one. Elementary. It's elementary, my dear boy. I like how this went from a revolutionary and a kidnapping from a ballerina to the revolutionary being the woman, being the ballerina, and the thing in the suitcase being a pet. Because clearly the deduction of Mr. Sholmes was actually fine to me. But oh wait, maybe that's the... No, I'm not Grimsby Roylott. My real name is Nicolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet's company performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Buria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could you really snuck on board without being noticed? That's a good question. In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman, and you intend to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? That fits with thinking of a bell, why none other than this young lady? More like a full set of pipes over here, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disguise myself so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man? I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard? Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened. I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and... At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoying unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? One more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling? It's a snake, isn't it? My only friend in the whole world. Something tells me it's a snake. That one went through the ventilator shaft. Please don't tell anyone if the captain finds it. I don't care. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, show us what's in the damn case. Oh. What's in the damn case? Give me the case! Yes, alright, I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruto? Wasn't it something, Mrs. Sholmes' great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. Indeed, it is incredible. And one more thing. Hmm? What? Observe your wrists. Your hands are cuffed again. What? But how? True to my words, I've restored your shackles. When and why? Well, he said he was gonna do it, so... There's still a shadow of guilt cast over you, mister. I'm sorry to say, it can be helped at the moment. Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. What is in the trunk? What is in the suitcase? I have to find out the speckled band at Kazuma. Probably the snake. Don't touch. Hmm? I will tell you what I know about last night, but please, you must not touch my things. How do you say, forbid? Oh, sorry. As well as you should be, young man. What vulgar manners you have, poking around in a young lady's private belongings. Neither shall I allow it. Hypocrite. Okay, so converse with what happened last night. Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh, wait, I said that. Oh, that's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example? Perhaps people talking? Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest? Perhaps its steam engine exploded? Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened? Perhaps everyone on... Oh. Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us? I feel sorry for her, man. I mean, she's fucking 15 years old, no family, no friends. The only thing she has is that pet that's in the goddamn trunk. Whichever one it is. I feel like it's a snake because of a speckled band. And what does a speckled band even mean? Other than a snake, to be honest. I feel like that's what he saw. And she's 15, got no friends, no family. She's on the run. The only thing she's got is that tiara and her only friend, which is a pet. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovich Ballet. Yes. I'm traveling to Great Britain and from there, I want to go to America. Could have just went the other way. To Alaska straight away. I mean, if you're in Japan anyway, Alaska's not that far from there. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. You wish to forget? A challenging proposition. When you have the striking tiara as a reminder. Tiara is mine, I needed to live. I have no money of my own. The Novovich Ballet gives us only a little food and water. And we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of the ship. They have all been kind to me. They let me come on board and they said I could hide in this cabin. Oh, so they are guilty by association. Got it. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruto? Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Mrs. Pavlova's explanation to what conundrum, I'm not sure. Well, if they all know about it. Hello, Naomi. Let's ask about the conundrum. It's been a while, Naomi. I've already been here for an hour. Why are you only here right now? Unless you've been hiding in the shadows. Who's that? Remember the guy with the floating headband? I was asleep. Oh. Okay. He died. He's the murderer. He's the murderer. He's the murdered. We're currently... we are currently on a ship. He died in the cabin next door. We are in the first class cabin. And this is Mr. Herlock Sholmes. And yes, it's actually called Herlock Sholmes. It's not Sherlock Holmes because obvious copyright reasons. But we are currently working on a few things to seek out his death. They think that we murdered him, so we must see if we are innocent again. I wouldn't expect myself to actually get that far, but Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose your riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Barrier stopped by no port last night. That's it, of course. So how is it that you come to be aboard? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside of the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about the occupant of this cabin. Yeah, so the sailors know about it, yeah. Mr. Stroganoff. Is he strong enough? I don't know. I think we're gonna find that out eventually, won't we? How was your sleepy time, by the way, Miss Naomi? I'm checking something, hold on. What the fuck? Okay. Yes, you're right, he did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens, because I am an angel. Box, matchstick. Put her on fire! Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist the touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova's the same. She's 15. Don't. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. What's once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, in fact. Oh, so he made it himself. Good to know. Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. No, doesn't seem to be the case. The friend. So the friend you mentioned inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board according... Yeah, we know that. Oh, please don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious... Then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. Her first. can't believe she's only 15 and she has no family, no friends. Ran away from the ballet because they kind of fucked her over. They didn't give her any money, so she ran away together with the tiara. So she could sell that later on. And now she only has that snake inside her trunk, which we don't even know if it's a snake. But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? I don't think it's a puppy. Maybe an adorable little rabbit? No. Hi, you credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits then? You may well ask. I have no idea. The Great Deductor, ladies and gentlemen. The Great Deductor. Ah. Can I just throw myself a little bit? Or a little bit. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerinas, friends. Isn't this obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Please, deduce this. I really want to know now. I really want to know. How do you go by... Oh, her friend must be a chicken. Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call. Daily fresh eggs. And when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her. She's underage, Ryu. Don't. She's underage. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. What are we talking about here? Perhaps this? Miss Pavlova, would you take a look at this? I don't know anything. You're frightening the poor girl. Maybe this? This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later... A whistling sound? What type of animal does make a whistling sound? And what is a speckled band to begin with? Speckled. Speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentioned joins to this cabin. A bird? Yeah, it must be something that either can fly. I'm still thinking it's some type of snake because it's speckled. And spickle, right? Don't really know the wording of speckled in Dutch. But the thing is, how would a fucking snake slither up there? I mean, I've seen worse. They have been in ceilings before, so why wouldn't they? In other words, this cabin and the victim cabin are connected together. Oh. It's a book. Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you, or the whistling sound perhaps? No. I don't know anything. Oh. It's a book by Sherlock Holmes. Oh, is it? Okay. Interesting. Knock, knock. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. Yes, what? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once. Please. Alright, I will come now. You must leave now. One saw the speckled band is in the IRL book. Okay. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry about yourself. Get out. The passenger said out, or do you want me to throw you out? It looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. Oof. To be continued. Yes, we're gonna save this. Yeah. Nope. I don't want to save anymore. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll need to get past the sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh yeah, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. So where do we go now? That is the question. Do we have anything more to ask him? I really wish we had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin. What? Why you look like that? You want something? Hmm? Maybe you want me to throw you out again, hmm? Oh no, definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand? Understood. Maybe I should stay clear of him until he's forgotten my face. I don't think he'll ever forget your face. Anything here? That door leads to the second class area. It's locked. I can't open it. No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. God, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. Whoopsie poopsie. Okay, been there, done that, been there, done that, been there, done that, been there, done that. Been there, done that. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin, it's Kazuma's. Oh, I've read this before. Your accommodation is confined, blah blah blah. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. Anyway. I wonder if Inspector Osanaga has managed to uncover any new clues. Yeah, we should probably find him and ask. You can't be that far though. Considering the fact that we really don't have anywhere to go. We can't go in here. Let's go back to the cabin. Where he was murdered. Looks like they're still investigating in here. Yeah, on that subject. I wonder if Inspector Osanaga is unscathed. What do you mean unscathed? Unscathed. Unschathed. Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naru? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh yeah, I forgot that as well, by the way. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. I think we've examined everything we need to, right? Oh, there he is. What if I talk to him? You! Where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to... Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, I mean, Seaman Osanaga did. Seaman. That new Japanese, was it? Later, I'll roll him into ball and throw him in cold room. Ah, he's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Osanaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our accounts. He's really gone out of his way to help, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to give him a steak. That could be a very long time from now. That doesn't matter. Keep in mind, by the way, these books were were all over the place. We picked them up, put them back in here, but in the next door room, they laid the same. Oh, you got beat up. Holy shit. Ah, you're back. Inspector, what happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Ah, I mean a blue eye. When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fist and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if I had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we know a little bit more about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh? I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes? I don't think it was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you about what we found out. Yes, let's do it. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door. Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful blah blah blah. Still don't know what's wrong with this guy and his blood. Oops, I think I upset him there. Probably has a disease or poison or something. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. How? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oh, I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to mistake sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. There's one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Lay it on me. Lay it on me, Inspector. New information. Give it to me. Give it to Zaza. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Burial's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report. Kazuma. So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in the system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Basically, if you want to break a neck, it's not that hard. Can't do it by myself, but grab it tightly here. Snap it. I don't need to do this by myself, Harley. Jesus fucking Christ, I just dislocate my own neck. Don't do it, but basically do this, do that, dislocate the neck, done. You just need to know where the pressure points are. Nothing has been found as yet. But the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object. Something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, okay, a blunt object can work too. Oh, I see. Blunt force trauma. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. If it is a possibility, no obvious wounds were left. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Has been added to the court records. We need to talk about the great detective as well. Oh, Mr. Shultz was here, was he? Yes. He seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. It was when he was over here, by the piece of broken glass. Do you see? Oh, that's shoe polish. Well, that makes sense. Perhaps he was talking about Rick and Mark, do you think? Ah, yes, that must be it. It's not a shit stain. But how could Mr. Shulm... How could Mr. that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. Smell it? Was it Susato? Well, Kazuma was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan. Sort of dark brownish red then? Yes, a little like the color of a red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoe as they are scuffed to the floor? Drag marks! So these are drag marks. Because I don't think... No, never mind. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yeah, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh no. Well... I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi. It was my responsibility. Everybody dies on your watch. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Okay. Oh, that's a good thing. Oh my fucking god, my ass is hurting me. Okay. I'm looking for a place to keep this. You know, to stick this stream, or to stop this stream actually. Not to stick the stream. I'm not looking for a place to stick the stream. What the fuck am I gonna put it in my ass? Is there anything else we can examine? So, blunt force trauma to the neck. He broke his neck. So something hit him hard on the neck. Is it this? All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, nearly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yeah, and you tidied them up, didn't you? You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage, but it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Could also be the tides, by the way. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can relax when things are untidy. I wasn't looking at that specifically, but okay. So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilled on the floor. And they spelled the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, it should just be spelled out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma would have written his last words O word in Russian. Yeah, don't think it's him, either way. Which begs the question, who wrote it, exactly? Wait, hold on, let me... No, I can't do that. Can I... No, I can only examine right now, okay. Or can I go to the court record? Oh, I can, okay. That's how I do it. I can examine this. Time of death somewhere between 1 AM and a little past 2 AM. Cause of death, damage to the cervical vertebrae is resulting to instant death. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. Okay, so the thing we need to know is... Does Kazuma know Russian? What is that pink thing next to it, though? It really is such a beautiful color, this glass. Looks like whatever it was has broken clean in two, but the other half is nowhere to be seen. And then there's the brick-colored mark, which is shoe polish, according to that great detective you seem to know all about. I suppose it must be from Kazuma's shoes. Maybe, but what I'd like to know is... How can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish and not something else? Because he's a great detective, yeah. His deductions have been great thus far. We had to correct him 4 times in one single deduction. But something tells me that these were drag marks, but the thing is... It doesn't line up perfectly with the body, because if you take a look, you see that the body was dragged over here, and so his shoes should have been here. So it's not. These are no drag marks, but I don't know why they are there to begin with, if that's the case. There's nothing on this table at all. There's plate and cutlery all over the floor for some reason. The question also begs, was there a fight? That's the thing. Was there a fight? Or did he... I don't know. I honestly don't know right now. My brain can deduce anything. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. Yeah, I think you were drugged. So, okay, that's maybe a deduction that I had last time as well. What I think happened is... we got his leftovers, or basically he didn't like chicken because his last meal should have been chicken, but he gave all the chicken to us before the night before he died. So we ate all of that. We got a heavy head and fell asleep in the wardrobe. We didn't hear anything at all. So I think that the chicken was poisoned, and because Kazuma wasn't dead by then, the killer actually came in the room to check to see if he died. And that didn't happen. So what did the killer do? Blunt force trauma to the neck. Would be my best guess. But then again, how would the door be locked? Something tells me that indeed the killer came in through the ventilation shaft. But that's just me. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma. No. Nice one. This is where Kazuma spent his final moments, writing his diary. A whistling sound. What makes a whistling sound? A speckled bat. An owl? Look at this writing here on this page. It's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery. We will. Well, I have been over almost everything. Maybe the ventilation shaft. Can we check up there? Maybe it's still there. Yes, that's right. Just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. I'm not sure. I know most people... Oh, blah blah blah. There was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. Well, I have deducted everything now, so, nothing. I've seen this before. I'm kind of stuck here. I've talked to both of them. Everything seems to be checked again. So now I'm just as confused as you are. Kazuma... Oh, she's 16, Jesus. A real wall of a man and a senior member of the Russian crew was in charge of security around the first class cabins. Well, you fucking tell me what I'm supposed to do now. I don't know anymore. I can only move. I forget what was the situation here exactly. Let's go there. See if there's anything to deduct here. Ah. Look, Naru. Seaman strong enough has gone. Strong enough. You don't have to spell it out for me again, but it's funny. It's funny, okay. The burly Russian sailor was always crossing his arm and glaring at us. All these Russian names are impossible. Tra-la-la. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-la-lira-lira-lay. I did the great detective away. Oh, for God's sake. This caroling, I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Sherlock Holmes is on the way. Sherlock Holmes is on the way. Definitely, before that stringy knot. What? Crewman comes back. It's strong enough, not stringy knot. before he comes back. Wait, what? Oh no! Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Where's she gone? What are you doing? Those are private things. There's not a moment to wait. Okay. Okay. I suppose you're right, for Kazuma's sake. Not just for Kazuma. What do you mean? It can be long enough until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case. Can you believe that this is a 16-year-old? Yes, we will. Let's examine literally everything now. Let's check this out. Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open. It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep a secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Buria. Wonder what kind she had in there. More to the point, where is it now? There are just a few books on the desk, nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She has hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of book she likes to read. Let me see. Yes. Yes, I see. Would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading. Books written in Russian. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people now. Can't you remember that? It would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are very thirsty people. Or because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet? I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you? I kind of am, yes. I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above it? No, you moron. What? A leak? Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? This is for the whatever it is, the pet. All the books are toppled over together. Look, every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the books? I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from a ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad that happens on the ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here too. You're contaminating the crime scene, you motherfucker. Ah yes, they're displayed in this cabin too. Look, there's various rules of passage. Oh. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in the cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized she needed to keep blah 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 a special friend, I mean. I wonder where friend has disappeared to now. He's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. Through the ventilation shed, if the door's closed. I just hope Seaman strong enough doesn't find it. Oh yeah, so do I. There's one of these next door to the bed in Kazuma's cabin too. Yeah, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. She barely has that then. Gave it a good tug too. No, I didn't expect anyone. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Oh, aren't you a moron? So sorry guys, I haven't really slept too well tonight, so I think I'm gonna go a little bit earlier to bed tonight because not even sure if I'm gonna make it. There's a gas leak at the occupants doesn't raise the alarm, or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Why are all of the characters dumb simultaneously? Coming out of this ventilator. Yes, he did a red speckled band there. Naru, are you there? Sorry? I'm right here, yeah. Why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know? That's funny. That's funny. What if there was a certain... Is the speckled band identified yet? No. But is there... Would there be people with a compulsion to actually jump into closets? Would that be a thing? Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. Also rather hoping we find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. Yeah, where is that thing gone? This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the room from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, isn't it? But still, I wouldn't slide across of it on its own accord, would it? No, and the door's made of metal, so there's no chance of Tricky using magnets on bolters from the outside. Oh, they had magnets by this time. Like actual working magnets, and they know how that worked from... with locks? By the 1900s? Is lockpicking a thing since the 1900s? Did they even have locks in the 1900s? I don't know. When were locks invented? Like the actual locks we know nowadays. Did they? Well, I mean, like the conventional locks with the, you know, key in it. No, I'm just saying. Fuck it. We're gonna study locks now. When were locks invented? Over 6,000 years ago. No, that's not the type I'm looking for. I'm talking about the more modern ones. When were bolted locks invented? We'll just do bolted locks. 1100s. Okay. Keys existed in 19... No. That's not the point. That's not the point I'm trying to make. Did they know in 1900s that if you had a bolted door like this, you put a magnet against this, and then when you slide it like this, the bolted lock comes with it? Is that a thing? Was that a thing back in the 1900s? You know, did they figure that out back in the 1900s? That's the part that I'm asking. Specifically, lock picking like this with a magnet. I mean, yes, I know keys and such existed, but like the modern things we know nowadays. You know, The ones where you basically just put a lock on, for example, a garage door. You know, like a small little thing. You know the compact ones. When were those invented is what I mean. Like, I know that fucking locks exist, but the small ones... never mind. We can do this all day otherwise. There's nothing else, right? We have investigated everything now. Except for here. Something tells me that... Huh. Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes, look. Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing... I'm actually gonna take this off because it's hurting my brain now. I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he is simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the art bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky her luck was about. Excuse me. I solved it all, and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes. What is it? You want to fight? Hmm? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic. Okay, that's fucking... The animations kind of took me off guard there. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is as good a time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now could you put those fists away? You can actually just... Since you're cuffed anyway, what you could do is grab the chain, put it over his neck, and then strangle him to death. Choke him. Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 AM this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened here, so... I'm not doing the laughs, I'm sorry. You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Is this some type of, like, Japanese joke because they have, like, these squinty eyes? Is that what I'm looking here? You've been utterly blinded? Sorry? A squint eye joke. Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean? Well, if they usually report something, then nothing has happened. But if they are suddenly reporting nothing, then something has happened. Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman of stand sentry in the first class pathway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes in every 30 minutes. Nothing to report? Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report, when there's just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes. There were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post. Oh, that could be a thing too. What kind of circumstances? Oh, he doesn't fucking know that, does he? That remains a mystery for now. But we can all be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship in your mental file. Okay. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes brilliant. What the fuck? I'm still not laughing. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Seems like everybody has it. Seems like there is some type of poisoning in the food, probably, because everybody had the food last night. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susato? You seem lost in thought. It's just... Well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? It's in the food from last night. I think the speckled... I need to sneeze. Bless me. I think the pet of... or the speckled band thing has to do something with it. The pet, probably. Can I examine things here? Oh, I did take the log with me now. And can get over there, can get over there, can get over there. Can I get over there? A cabin. This could be our chance. Okay, well, let's take a look at... Oh, not the history. Let's take a look at... Where can we move to? We can still move to the cabin. So there's something here. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. What's that? Oh, okay. Vessel sighted a quarter mile for. Full stop, hard to starboard, all hands brace for impact. I think we're about to crash into another ship. I can't stand. Susato, hold on to me. Yeah, I'm not gonna scream. Oh, sweet. The ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like Inspector Tsunaga. How did... Yeah, how does that thing become bolted? Is that... Wait a second, is that lock as heavy as piece of shit then? Because locks shouldn't be doing that. I'd better tidy this place up first. Our violent emergency stop had solved the one mystery at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. To be continued. Yes, that's the perfect way to end this right here. People, thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow, what is... Next time, probably upcoming Wednesday, so next week, we are going to continue our playthrough of Part 2, Episode 2 of Why do I want to say Cobblemon? What the fuck is wrong with my head? I feel like I have Alzheimer's or dementia or being senile of some sorts. We are going to continue this next week, and maybe it's the last one. I'm not entirely sure. It feels like it's a long ride, a really long ride. Thank you so much for watching. Upcoming Sunday is Cobblemon. I hope to see you all there. And until then, I wish you a good night. Bye-bye.